This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The LA Sparks missed out on the chance to reach 500 for the first time in 2 years. They lost at home last night to the Atlanta Dream 88-82. The Sparks dropped to 2-4. Next game for the Sparks is Friday night in Las Vegas to play the Aces. The Dodgers pulled away for a 9-5 win in Cleveland. Third straight game for Shohei Ohtani with a home run. He now has 20. The Yankees held on for a 3-2 win over the Angels in Anaheim. Fourth straight loss for the Angels after their 8-game winning streak. Both conference finals in the NBA playoffs are at 3-1. Indiana beat New York last night 130-121. A brilliant game for Indiana guard Tyrese Halliburton, 32 points, 15 assists, and 12 rebounds. Indiana wins the Eastern Conference if they beat the Knicks Thursday night in Game 5 in New York. Oklahoma City can win the Western Conference tonight. OKC is at home against Minnesota for Game 5. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
You really about to do it?
40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music.
You really about to do it?
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
Who among us doesn't like black music? But Kendrick is right. This moment is so much bigger than music. These are serious times. We've got serious problems, and we need serious people who understand that slogans are not solutions. When you want substantial and sober analysis about things that matter to you and the ones you love, this is where you turn. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Baby!
Seems like everyone is running from the truth. We just stand up and fight, walk into the light. We're the people, we can do it if we try. I know we can do it. Somebody asked me, why do we have to go through it? It's just the test of our faith. But we're living day to day. We don't know where, we don't know when. But it's coming back again. Oh, yes, it is. It's late to me. Oh, God, it's time for you to return. Oh, see. I know. Time to make a change.
Oh, yes, it is that time again, and we are so excited. We count it all joy, Dr. Weston and myself, to have you all here with us on this great day. Lots to explore. Doc, there was a fascinating article written in the Atlantic about whether or not we are living in the dark ages again. We have an administration that wants to eradicate all notions of history and truth. You and I have talked about this bit by bit, that one of the first things to go when you're going into an authoritarian type government is truth. Truth is sacrifice. But this article, which we're going to lift up some highlights from it, is quite fascinating. They have launched, meaning the Trump administration, a comprehensive attack on knowledge itself, a war against culture, history, and science. If this assault is successful, the author says, it will undermine Americans' ability to comprehend the world around us. And I totally 100% agree. The rejection of student visas, this administration, instead of dealing with homelessness and hunger and making sure that people have a living wage, et cetera, all of those things that are part of a robust social contract, they sitting up here trying to tell colleges and universities who to admit to their institutions, who's worthy of coming. Foreign students, it's foreign students today or international students today. It may be just good old American students tomorrow. Who knows? So they are all over the place doing things to wreak havoc instead of doing things that uplift. Before we get to any of that, the doctor is back in the house. Dr. West, we missed you so very much yesterday.
I missed you and I missed our audience yesterday. I was on the plane on my way to Vancouver, where I am now, but I know you did. I heard you did magnificently, as you always do. That's just who you are. You can't help yourself.
I tried, Doc, but I missed you. The audience missed you too. So the dynamic duo is back together again.
We back together. I want to begin though, before I say anything, with a salute to my dear brother Ray Richardson doing his sports minute. That brother gets more with minute than anybody I know. Reminds me of the great Benjamin Elijah Mays when he says there's eternity in it in every minute. And Brother Tavis used to quote that whole verse that Benjamin Mays was talking. You can get in what you want if you're concise and clear and lucid. And that's Brother Ray Richardson. So we salute that brother.
Yes. I enjoyed it. I learned so much about sports in 60 seconds.
Exactly. The rhythm and the tone and the spirit. The brother just got it going. I don't know where he's from, but Lord have mercy. He's putting a smile on his mama and his daddy's face. Every time he gets that in within that sports minute. But I'm thinking, for example, of the relation between the ways in which Brother Ray Richardson gets in that clarity, that honesty, and that information with the exact opposite with the Trump administration. We've said over and over again how this is American gangsterism crystallized and enacted on a broad scale. But I would argue that America, for the most part, has never really been deeply committed to any kind of will to truth, so that there's a sense in which every moment in the history of not just America, but the species has been a kind of age in which it has not wanted to come to terms with the challenging, painful truths about itself. But this is crystallized and intensified. And that's what we're getting under the neo-fascism of Trump. And it's a neo-fascism not simply of policy, but also of spirit, of tone, of intolerance, of contempt, of stupidity in the form of not being interested in a quest for truth. We've made that distinction before between stupidity and ignorance. All of us are, just like I think all of us have gangster proclivity. So when I call Trump a gangster, I know I got gangster in me, so I can see elements of me in him. But at the same time, I'm doing a much better job of de-gangsterizing myself. I got the help of Jesus and other things, but I de-gangsterize myself. Just like as a black man, I've been de-niggerizing myself for 71 years. You can't live in America and not be shaped by white supremacy, but you got to extract it. You got to get it out. You can't live in America and not have gangsterized sensibilities, but you got to get it out. But when it becomes a positive thing, when cruelty becomes a strategy and empathy becomes an enemy. So your enemies are those who empathize with the poor. Your cruelty makes you feel superior, makes you feel like you're a winner, makes you feel great. Making America great, this cruelty employed against the weak. How spiritually sick can you get? And yet that has become more and more the norm. That has become more and more that which is viewed as natural in the Trump administration and among significant numbers of our fellow citizens. 77 million folk voted for him for different reasons, different motivations. Some are more and more disappointed these days. We're going to see how long that lasts. But I think most importantly, here we are talking about truth time and saying we gonna hold on in our fallible way to truth telling, justice seeking, and we go down swinging the way Duke Ellington and Ella Fitzgerald put it. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
Do up, 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 do up.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, Doc. So you said cruelty is strategy and empathy is
Enemy.
enemy. Yeah. Oh my God.
If you empathize, poor people empathize with immigrants, empathize with black people, you become the enemy. You want to tell the truth about America from the vantage point of those folk who've been crushed, you the enemy. It is not just regulating Harvard and higher education. You want repression. The same folk who talked about the left was canceling culture, the left was promoting a lack of freedom of expression. They come into power. What do? Eliminate the dissonant voices. It's amazing. Marco Rubio, right? He comes to America from Cuba because of what? Well, because Castro was repressing dissident voices. So what does he do when he's Secretary of State? Represses dissident voices. Same thing.
Yeah, the same thing. Doc, hold that same thing thought. You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner. When we come forward, we're going to continue this fascinating discussion.
Speaking truth to power. And to the powerless. This is Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say. Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice Plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Hit the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DePrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA.
Love you. Love you.
To thine own self be true. More of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner coming your way right now on KBLA Talk 1580.
Definitely happy birthday, KBLA. Oh my God, Doc, this is such an exciting time for the network.
4 years. 4 magnificent, marvelous, magnanimous years.
And we wishing them 44 more. It was just gonna keep with the 4th thing, but this is so exciting. I wish I could be in LA to be in celebration, but I'll be doing it from a distance with my heart and my spirit. But so happy and so proud of Brother Tavis Smiley for expanding the body politic in this country beyond just pure politics, the culture, the self-help, brothers and sisters being keepers of one another, what they've been able to do with the Altadena Fire, and just everything. I mean, this is a very service-oriented network, and it is because of the leadership of the one and only Brother Tavis Smiley. And we know that he knows that he cannot do any of this alone, but he is the visionary. Or let me put an and, it's not a but. He is the visionary for this. And my God, how magnificent it is to be associated with him and the entire KBLA team.
That's so true. Well, I've seen him do it for almost 40 years. Consistent, constant, committed, devoted, sacrificial. Because there's a cross you got to bear when you committed to the truth and committed to loving black folk. Anybody that loves black folk in the white supremacist world better get ready for a cross and maybe 2 for both sides of your shoulders. But you move on and keep on keeping on anyhow and anyway.
Yeah, that's truth time for sure, Doc. Absolutely it is. So big ups. So this article was written in the Atlantic, the author Adam Skewer And I mean, he really lays it out. The Trump administration has launched an attack on knowledge itself. He goes through a historic overlay and a historic framing, which we are very familiar with. We love to frame things that way as well. And comparing the attitudes, or at least putting out the frame, the attitudes of the Trump administration compared to some of the things that happened during the dark ages, during the dark age time in this country. And basically the premise is that during the dark ages, some of that stuff kind of happened by happenstance, but that the Trump administration is deliberately declaring, using your words, a war on truth. And he lays out that every week there's some new, fresh war that this administration has declared on some vulnerable community, or bringing up something to keep us so discombobulated that we don't pay attention to the main thing, that they're doing this. And so just a portion of this, he says, these various initiatives and policy changes are often regarded as discrete problems, but they comprise a unified assault. The Trump administration has launched a comprehensive attack on knowledge itself, a war against culture, history, and science. If this assault is successful, it will undermine America's or Americans' ability to comprehend the world around us, like the conquistadors of old who persecuted Galileo for daring to notice that the sun did not, in fact, revolve around the earth. They believe that truth seeking imperils their hold on power. That is the key, Doc. All of this is about unbridled greed and unbridled power at the end of the day.
Oh, that's real. No, I think Brother Adam has written a highly significant piece, and it has an alarmist quality to it that's highly appropriate. But I keep coming back to the point. I think Malcolm X is right when he says there's been a war against Black people and poor people for 400 years. It's been incessant. It has been recurrent. So it's not as if there was a moment where there was no war. There's not been a moment in which there's massive truth telling and massive justice creation in the history of the country for Black people and poor people, let alone indigenous people, you see. So it's a matter of degree and gradation. Trump's gangsterism is more crystallized, more intensified, more expansive with the rapidity of the assaults. But the war itself has other kinds of strategies that's been in place for a long time. You go back 1776, what does that look like? Barbarism for us. Go back to 1815, barbarism. 1855, barbarism. 1875, Jim Crow lynching. 1915, 1917, East St. Louis. 1921, Tulsa, Black
1919, Doc. Don't forget the Red Summer.
And that's right, 1919, the Red Summer. Red Summer, just Black folk getting massacred and so forth. Move on to the 60s. Martin, Malcolm, Medgar, Fannie Lou getting beaten down. The masses of Black people still living lives of poverty. Over 75% of folk living in poverty. What other age is the brother talking about? Well, he's right to say we have to be historically specific so that Trump's neo-fascism is not exactly the same as none of those earlier moments. He's right about that. That's why I'm so glad you mentioned the piece. But I don't want anybody to think, that when you think of historical periods, this period was all the dark ages. And I don't like the association of dark with lighting anyway. It's really the flip side. Tell you the truth. The blacker it gets in America, usually the more insight you got. Certainly the more soulful it is. You know what I mean? It's the flip side, but whatever adjectives you want to use, that the enlightened people, the courageous people, the loving people, the sacrificial people, they have been the constants in America, but not of America. They ain't never been in charge of America. Never.
Yeah, that part, Doc. And your point about how words make worlds, and in the vernacular of America, or just the Eurocentric worldview, dark is always bad, light is always good. And they flip that thing because they superimpose it on darker skinned people. So, devil food's cake, bad, angel food cake, good, dark ages, bad, light ages. Basically, what you're saying, Doctor, there never been no light ages, to be exact, because of human nature. You know, we trying to look into the light, as they said in that movie Poltergeist, look into the light. But the light ages, black sheep of the family, you know, all of these things that are in the American vernacular that continues to work on your mind, work on your mind, work on your mind, and presupposes that a certain connection to whiteness is pure and blackness is not. And what you doing, Doc, you flipping that thing on his head. So I got that, the historical connotation of the Dark Ages. And yeah, Brother Adams laid that out. Now he said something else, or he wrote something else that I thought was also important in this piece. And I do encourage people to go read this piece. It's in the Atlantic, and it is about, you know, Doc and I are debating the use of the historic use of the word, not his use of the word, but how we must flip that thing on his head. But he also writes, by destroying knowledge, Trumpists seek to make the country more amenable to their political domination and to prevent meaningful democratic checks on their behavior. Their victory, though, would do much more than that. It would annihilate some of the most effective systems for aggregating, accumulating, and applying human knowledge that have ever existed. Without those systems, America could find itself plunged into a new dark age.
Now, if we just replace dark age with barbaric age, I'm with Brother Adam all the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. If you call into question the very condition for the possibility of the search for knowledge and the concern for the vulnerable and the poor, you are reinforcing a barbarism that's already in place, but you're reinforcing it, you're deepening it, make it more difficult for any significant and genuine opposition to emerge. And that's very much, you know, what is happening right now. There's no doubt about that. That's exactly what American style gangsterism, American style neo-fascism does. It makes it difficult for anybody to even conceive of an alternative.
That's it. And how he has been able to do all of this stuff in like lightning, rapid succession to keep everybody off their stasis off. Like he has messed up the stasis. And maybe I should use that word very lightly, because America has never truly been in a stasis. You can't be in a stasis and have working poor. You can't be in a stasis and have hungry children. You can't be in a stasis and have unhoused people. But he has off balanced even the full stasis that we have had, you know, as a nation. So his attacks on higher education, you know, using the carrot and the stick to try to get institutions to do what he wants to do with our money, though. I want to remind our audience that he's playing with our money. It's not his money, even though he's operating. You know, my sweetie said that the president is treating all of America like Las Vegas.
Ooh, that's a nice way. Just the casino at large.
At large, just gambling away without any regard for who loses and who, because he's always going to win. I mean, we see that the Trump family has increased its wealth, you know, and he's not the only one. I mean, the Congress as well, because they get to do insider trading. They get to make the rules and also benefit from the rules, the stock options. And when Democrats had a chance to do something about it when they were in control, they did absolutely nothing. And Republicans are just as complicit. I'm just saying the Democrats tend to have an indictment as if their hands are clean too. It's the duopoly itself.
No, that's exactly right. And that's really the the major problem, that when you have a whole system that is so chronically corrupt.
Yes.
Tremendous imagination and a tremendous courage to conceive of an alternative and then want to work for it and sacrifice into working for an alternative. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And even in the face of this, and so to have people like Brother Adams and so many others who are writing about this in a way to try to get us to digest it and juxtaposition it to other times, either in American history or human history. I like your relabeling, Doc, the barbaric ages. And this type of conundrum. See, the thing that gets me, and this is not with Brother Adams at all. The thing that gets me, though, is because the Trump administration is so overt with it, it makes us think by comparison that other administrations were so much better. You know, I heard somebody say less bad is still bad.
That's it. That's exactly it. And we got to keep in mind, as much as we appreciate Atlantic Magazine, all these magazines have faults and foibles, but the Atlantic Magazine is an apartheid magazine. You see that they have been at the forefront of defending the apartheid, the ethnic cleansing, and the genocide denying in Gaza. I mean, that's what the editor, that's what Jeffrey Goldberg or something, that, you know, he fought in the IDF himself. I mean, so, you know, on the one hand, we accept the truth telling from any quarter, but and if you have a magazine which itself has been silencing any serious engagement with genocide because you deny it's genocide, silencing any engagement with apartheid and ethnic cleansing because you deny it's ethnic cleansing and apartheid, then are you not part of the barbaric age too? Are you not part of the dark, we put it in inverted commas, are you not part of the dark ages too? You know, what are we talking about here? You see, if the South African government in 1955 had a critique of what's going on in Latin America and they were telling the truth, we accept it. But the South African government was complicitous with the barbarism, that they were critical of the barbarism in Latin America. Because is apartheid. Black lives in South Africa, Palestinian lives in Gaza have the same value as the Israeli lives and the Jewish lives that the Atlantic Monthly has been primarily focused on.
Ain't that the truth, Doc? This is Truth Time. You're listening absolutely to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner. When we come forward, we're going to continue to talk about the barbaric age.
The truth will set you free, but first it might raise your blood pressure.
So I'm not driving you, man.
More of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Chicago's Black Mayor Brandon Johnson is highlighting a drop in gun violence over Memorial Day weekend.
The investing in detectives and the entire detective division was so critical, but it's not just policing. It's policing and youth employment.
City police reported 24 shootings with 3 fatalities, a drop from 41 shootings and 9 deaths last year. A stylist who worked for Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie Ventura testified that Diddy threatened to withhold Cassie's music when he was upset and even threatened her parents. This came after testimony that a Molotov cocktail targeted Kid Cudi's car. And Kool and the Gang's Mike Sumler, known as Chicago Mike, was killed in a crash in Mableton, Georgia. Police say his car entered the intersection and was hit. Sumler, who was 71, died at the scene while the other driver was unharmed. He joined the band in 1985. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and more for a child in poverty. And there are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year and their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk Radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, aka the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease, also known as AD, a type of dementia that affects memory, thinking, and behavior, making everyday tasks challenging. But did you know that Black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? There are things you can do to help reduce your risk for developing AD. Managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure is crucial. Staying physically active, maintaining social connections, eating a healthy diet, and keeping your mind engaged with activities like reading or puzzles can all contribute to brain health. It's also important to recognize some common signs and symptoms of early AD, such as forgetfulness that causes problems with everyday life, asking the same question a few times in a row, and difficulty concentrating on basic tasks. If you see these signs in yourself or a loved one, don't wait. Early diagnosis and intervention are key to managing AD effectively. To learn more about AD and a potential treatment option, visit treatalzearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Pastor and Mrs. William Sachs Epps on their retirement from stewardship at the historic Second Baptist Church. Dr. Epps has faithfully served Second Baptist as its senior pastor for 37 years. What a legacy of love and leadership. Pastor and Mrs. Epps will be honored at a luncheon on Saturday, July 26, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sheraton Universal Hotel in Universal City, and you're invited to attend. Noted scholar Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is the keynote speaker. For ticket information, please contact epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. That's epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. To Pastor Epps and First Lady Epps, congratulations from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
The revolution will not be televised.
What's up? It is Killer Mike, also known as Michael Render, and I'm encouraging you to listen to more, not less, of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Senator Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is where love and truth meet.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
Those of you who have been with us since the start of the show, thank you. If you are just joining us, welcome. If you want to listen to this show or any of the other magnificent shows on KBLA 1580, please download the app. You got to do that, or listen to us wherever you get your podcast. So, Doc, I loved your opening. Cruelty is strategy. Empathy is the enemy. That's just how upside down this world is. And it's been this way for quite some time. It's just that there are moments where this rottenness, this decay is more in our face than it is at some times. Sometimes, you just can't see it or feel it. And other times you're like, wow, something has shifted. Oh, we are in the shift moment. And speaking of shift, going right to the live on the tube, we have Daniel Samir in the house. Brother Daniel, peace and grace, Dr. West. Peace and grace, Senator Turner. Well, peace and grace back to you, our dear brother. We appreciate you. Bless the peacemaker. When the erosion of respect for institutional education and truth in formal teaching times like this will matter more and more. That's a great way to frame it, Doctor. We have to take other venues. I like how Blessed Peacemaker said informal teaching avenues or vehicles or opportunities like this become more and more important.
Absolutely. And we have to keep in mind that most effective teaching is by example rather than just words or text.
Yeah, amen. Amen to that. And we do have more opportunities than we've had in past generations because of the advent of technology, where people can take that teaching, they can take that education or miseducation
That's right.
in their own hands and spread it far and wide. But we get a chance to use it for a tool for good. So thank you, Blessed Peacemaker, for making that point. Shayla Johnson is in the house. She said blacklist ... And then she asked a question. What article is this? I am searching and found references to articles from 2020 and 2014. Nothing recent. So Sister Shayla, this article is in the Atlantic magazine and it is dated, I want to say it's May 27th or so, May 25th, 2025. And the title is the Dark Ages. So let me go. I'm gonna pull it up real quick and make sure I give you the exact title. The New Dark Age is the exact title. It's under ideas. The Trump administration has launched an attack on knowledge itself. It's by Brother Adam Skewer, Serwer, and it's dated for May 27th, 2025. So it is a very recent article. I hope that helps. And I hope that you find this article. It's a very good article, Doc. I mean, very, very good. All right, Blessed Peacemaker. I think Trump forgot to ask the parliamentarian about all of this. That's good. That's good. For those of you who don't know the reference that Blessed Peacemaker is making, Doc, I know you recall when the Biden administration was asked about why it did not, could not, would not increase the federal minimum wage, which is still at $7.25. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can live off of that. They blamed it on the parliamentarian. Lord have mercy.
Pathetic.
Yes, and to keep in mind, the parliamentarian is a position that was created by the Senate, and the parliamentarian has no real power. He or she or he or they only have the power that the Congress gives them, so they don't have to listen to the parliamentarian. But I swear to you, the Democrats use the parliamentarian as a shield to not do a thing.
That's so true. That's so true.
Blessed Peacemaker is making a joke about that. So we just want to pull y'all in on that so you understand where that's coming from. We got Stan Williams. Seriously, did we ever leave barbarism?
That's a question we are wrestling with. There have always been certain forms of barbarism shot through the history of America and every other country. But America too. But America lies about itself and says it is the great beacon of liberty on a hill with its slavery, with its genocide against indigenous peoples. So that there's this claim that America is innocent rather than America itself has barbarism shot through it. Now, the best of America confronts barbarism. There's no doubt about that. But the best of Lithuania, the best of Ethiopia, the best of Guatemala, the best of Argentina confronts barbarism too.
True that, Doc. And that was such a magnificent question. Stan Williams goes on, what did the civil rights era do but give equal access to social economic violence? Wow. We wrestle with that all the time. I mean, Dr. King himself, and he was only one. He was the primary face of the civil rights movement, but we know the civil rights movement itself was so much bigger than him, happened before him. I mean, Black people, Africans and their American descendants have been fighting for civil rights from the beginning. Let's clear that up. But as a movement, an orchestrated, organized movement, that is a pretty profound question, Doc. And remember, Dr. King wrestled with these too, and he questioned whether or not he was leading Black people into a burning, did he say burning house or burning building? I can't remember. But
integrating into a burning house. You are absolutely right. But civil rights has a number of different sides. One side is Black folk gaining access to resources, so we have less poverty, access to rights, so we have more liberty. But on the other side that's the burning house side, more violence, more domination, more pharaohs who are black in the American house, justifying genocide in Gaza, justifying AFRICOM in Africa, justifying intervention in Latin America and Caribbean as black leaders, black politicians.
Yeah, taking on the form, picking up other people's bad habits, as I like to call it. So that's why we got a saying in the black community: you may be my color, but you might not be my kind. Meaning everybody that appears to look like us is not for us. And that goes for any justice journey, for any group of people, that the very people who you may think you have the least in common with may be the ones to put the mask on you if they didn't put it on themselves. So we got to keep that in mind. Oh man, Brother Stan Williams, those were really two very, very good questions. And we are going to continue to wrestle with, what in fact civil rights did get us some things. We cannot deny that. But the civil rights movement itself, I think people get confused. It was not just about the right to vote in and of itself, or accommodations and all of those things. There was an economic component to it that continues to be left out of the telling of the history. And so the freedom budget for all Americans, which you and I have done a whole show about, I continue to talk to you about, and others all around this country, was a part of that movement, where you have leaders like the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Asa Philip Randolph, one of the greatest labor unionists of the 20th century, and Brother Bayard Rustin, who was just a mastermind, who understood that you cannot be free. And several presidents have said this too. Now, whether or not they've acted on it, but you cannot be free without being economically free. And so the freedom budget for all Americans took into account to get Black liberation and also economic liberation for all working people. So to get social justice for Black people and economic justice for all. And that is why it's called the freedom budget for all Americans. I want people to look it up, read about it, marinate in it. We are working on a big project, as you know, Doc, at the Institute on Race, Power, and Political Economy. Is Dr. Derek Hamilton, a stratification economist and leader of that institute, continues to preach the gospel of a human rights economy for all.
That's so very, very crucial. We cannot talk about that enough, because that brings together the legacy of Martin and Malcolm, of Ella Baker and Fannie Lou Hamer, because you're talking about the economic empowerment of a Black freedom movement that was talking not just about civil rights, not just about civil liberties. Those play their role. They are very important. But economic empowerment, economic rights, that gets at the heart of the system. That gets at the heart of the organized greed of financialized capitalism with its imperial tentacles around the world. That's what A. Philip Randolph, Brother Ruskin and them were talking about way decades ago.
Decades, Doc. The March on Washington. Jobs was in the title.
That's right.
People forget that part of the equation. You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner. We will continue this when we come forward.
It's Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text EQUAL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text EQUAL to 321-321. That's EQUAL to 321-321.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
1455 Frazee, San Diego. CordellCordell.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Truth shall rise again. You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Only right here. Doc, going back into the chat, we got Sister Shayla Johnson again. Well, Pelosi was making that money. She needed another fridge full of ice cream to show to all the poor folks. But people who may not remember, a few years ago, Pelosi did this kind of media opening her home, and she had all this nicely stacked ice cream, which became, all the rage in terms of people talking about how disconnected, unconnected a lot of these people who are in these seats are from what the average everyday person is going through. And it's not that she couldn't have the ice, have ice cream, but just remember, while you're bragging and smiling about this ice cream, some people don't have any food to eat. It's just making light. Sometimes it's not the time to make light and do those kind of lighthearted things when the majority of people in this country are enduring immense suffering.
That's so very true.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
2/3 of our fellow citizens live in paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, over 60% said they found it hard to pay rent or pay mortgage. Certainly, the notion that just because the more prevalent or pronounced impacts of COVID have disappeared into the background, COVID itself has not disappeared. It's very much like the flu. It's going to be with us always. But I seem to think that just because it's not the number one issue that we're talking about, that people have forgotten that there are still ripple effects to the COVID, to the pandemic, that not just about the disease itself, but the economic and social impacts that period of time had on all of us. And people have not fully rebound from that. Many people have not fully rebound from the Great Recession.
That's true.
Of 2008. It's easy. My grandmother used to always say it's easier to jump in the hole than it is to get out.
To get out, isn't that the truth? Yeah. And there's a psychic and spiritual side of it, though. When you have almost 1 million of precious citizens who die,
yes, so
months, you got to wrestle with grief. And we didn't have time to really mourn. We didn't have time to really get ourselves together in such a way that we could deal with that grief in a strong and mature manner. And then there's the material side of just not having access to the resources and things. But all of that gets tied together. And it's something that we have to always be cognizant of in our truth telling and in our justice seeking.
That's right. And those things don't easily go away. You know, Pastor Jamal Bryant a few years ago said to me, to your point about 1 million people dying, 1 million Americans, not even counting the millions of people across the globe. But he said, how do you have 1 million people die in your country and not take a national moment to grieve? And that blew me away. I've never forgotten that. That's it. How do we do that? You know, just 1 million people gone, and we say ne'er a word, to quote my grandmother. Shayla also said she found the article. Thank you. Got it. Oh, I'm so glad you did, Sister Shayla. So good. B-Bell of Bad Dog Bullies. Good afternoon, Team Truth. We have to keep growing our own communities and systems that benefit us. You can't sanction a community that doesn't depend on you. You can't sanction a community that does not depend on you. Doc, that really, really preaching here on Truth Time. We got some of the wisest viewers.
That's wisdom.
The planet. That is wisdom. You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner. When we come forward, some final thoughts.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and Brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease or AD. But did you know that Black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? You may be able to reduce your risk by managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure, being physically active, eating healthy, and exercising your mind. To learn more about AD, the importance of early diagnosis and intervention, and a potential treatment option, visit treatalzearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
This is where love and truth meet.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
Yes, we are. Yes, you are. Going back. Our chat is hot, Doc. I can't take my eyes off it. Blessed Peacemaker. There is a great book, and I love when our community recommends books for us and others to read. There's a great book, The Jakarta. And thank you, Blessed Peacemaker, for spelling it phonetically for me. I need that phonetic spelling, and I'm not ashamed to say it. The Jakarta Method by Vincent Bevins, that will spell out the U.S.'s barbarism, as a business model. The New Confessions of an Economic Hitman by John Perkins, too. So 2 book recommendations. The Jakarta Method by Vincent Bevins, and The New Confessions of an Economic Hitman by John Perkins. Blessed Peacemaker, he's recommending those books for us to read. Doc, are you familiar with any of those?
I know that second book. I remember Toni Morrison's beloved son told me to read that thing a long time ago.
Okay.
Brother Ford. The first book, I don't know. First book, I don't.
Yeah, I haven't heard of either one of these, but Blessed Peacemaker, we're going to put these on our list as well. Maybe we could do a community reading to get everybody reading and dropping some knowledge and some nuggets in there on Truth Time. Shayla Johnson, Sister Shayla back in here. Not all skin folks is kin folks. Culture, all skin folks ain't kin folks. Shayla, again, you hit my point on the head about Pelosi, and she was behind the lack of legislation against insider trading. Yes, she absolutely was. And then Blessed Peacemaker reminds us that at the time that they were debuting her home and talking about this luxury ice cream, which it was luxury ice cream, it's very expensive ice cream. It's very good ice cream too, but it's very luxury ice cream. But the timing was wrong. It was at the time that they were taking away stimulus money. So timing is everything. That's what made it so wrong. Not that she could afford it, not that she had stacks and stacks of it, but it's just a kind of indifference, a callous indifference to the suffering of people in this country.
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. No, we got to shatter indifference no matter who has it.
That's a great visual, Doc. Yeah, we're going to shatter indifference. Let's all take a part in doing that. Doc, we got less than 60 seconds left. I want to let our family know that they don't want to miss Teaching Thursday tomorrow. They do not want to miss it. Dr. West and I will be talking about the great Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson. Oh my God, and all that he has done to lift up the Black community and the world, by extension, his incredible courage. And as a matter of fact, his son follows us next on KBLA.
And then Jesse Jackson Jr.
Jesse Jackson Jr. coming up. So don't you turn this dial. Dr. West and I want you to live your purpose, live on purpose, and remember, above all, titles are good, but purpose is better. Until next time.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.